When Sri Lanka's war of nearly 3 decades ended in 2009, there was a collective sigh of relief. In the larger scheme of things, however, there are those who were eventually forgotten. The widows. What we as a country seem to have forgotten is that women from not just the north and east, but from all over the country lost their near and dear in that war. Some to date remain missing in action. These women are looking for the truth, and that truth remains in the wind 12 years on. They live in a culture where widows are stigmatized, cannot get married again, are vulnerable to sexual abuse, and lose their dignity in the protracted administrative process to prove their widowhood. On Srilanka Life Let's Talk today is Dr Dayani Panagoda, a policy specialist, lecturer and activist on social cohesion, reconciliation and peace building, having worked in the development sector for 20 years with communities and the government. And she is also a war widow. Her husband, who was in the Navy, went missing in action during the war. Welcome, Dayani. Good to have you on Srilanka Life Let's Talk. You yourself are a war widow. Your husband went missing in action while in the Navy during the war. But we can't forget that there are a significant number of civilian widows as well as military widows. How does the system treat each of them?
Yeah, I lost my husband to the war 24 years ago, and what kept me going is to work on peace building to ensure that these violent conflicts would never occur and non-recurrence, and again that also so that the women will not suffer. And I never had a closure, and it was like I cannot forget but I can forgive, and then that's what kept me going. That's the motto that kept me going. And war widows are all over the country, and we treat them differently, and that all the suffering remains the same, whether it is a military widow or a widow from the LTT cadres or others. That is where that we see that the system needs to think beyond the connections but treat them as humans.
Not everyone wants compensation, like you, for instance. Some need closure. Has anything been done about that?
That's a tough question to answer, because the closure is something that is essential for, I think, every one of us. Yes, there are many who wants to see compensation as well. But for me, after many years, I'm still looking for closure, although that after the first year of his missing, I received the death certificate. Do you think that you have a paper means that it tells you there is a closure? No. And also there are many widows and mothers who are still looking for that closure, and that closure comes not necessarily with the paper. Yes, it is very important. That death certificate is a very important thing, but at the same time we need to have that memorialization of the dead. And when I say memorialization of the dead, it comes from both sides.
What are the commonalities you see among widows of the military, the North and East, and the South, as well as those widows of the LTTE?
I think the commonality is that we all want to know the truth. And the truth is that what happened to our loved ones. And be it military or be it otherwise, where that you have faced this difficulty, but you want to see the truth. So because we are being basically victimized, and we are being continuously victimized as widows, and especially in an Asian country that happens, and then it is very difficult for some of the women to bring up their children, for them to tell the children that they have lost their father, and then it is, and because the society always say that it is the karma of the wife that the wife lost the husband. So I think everybody wants to know the truth, and then everybody wants that respect from the society.
What are the challenges faced 12 years on?
Sadly, we have not learned lessons, and 12 years on, we are not working on peace building, we are not working on conflict transformation, we are not working on reconciliation. We do not have an open dialogue. Bring these women together to understand what the problems that they face, and work on the root causes, what we went through, why we went through, and what was these challenges that we faced that it became very violent. And those are the areas I think any government or any individual should work on, because we all have a contribution to make in making peace in this country and also trust building.
Thank you, Dayani, for elaborating on a topic that, for the most part, seems to be forgotten. These are the forgotten women, most ostracized by society and culture that turns on them rather than help them with their loss. It's time for us to remember the sacrifices they too have made for this country. It wasn't just their men who sacrificed themselves for our freedom. They did too. This was Srilanka Live. Let's talk. If you like Kaleidoscope today, then do tell us so by simply pressing that like sign on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Kaleidoscope with savithrirodrigo and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Making all your new goals in life a reality is why our strength is your strength. With 12 billion rupees worth of customer benefits in 2020 and a life insurance fund worth over 100 billion rupees, our strength is your strength. You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.